Democracy was bought with blood. We imagine Athens built on brilliant philosophy and beautiful rhetoric. The magnificent Parthenon stands as a monument to human intellect. Yet the foundation of this society was entirely physical matter. But what if the very concept of freedom was financed by something much darker? To discover the true price of civilization, we must look below the surface. Deep within the dark underground of the Laurion mines, human suffering forged wealth. Silver extraction required absolute brutality. Tens of thousands of slaves were worked to death daily. They extracted raw ore through incredibly energy-intensive metallurgical processes. This was the ancient world's most brutal proof of work. We must uncover how this horrific physical cost established the original foundation of unyielding hard money. Athens forged a monetary revolution. The city introduced the iconic Athenian Owl silver tetradrachm. It bore the image of Athena and her sacred bird. But the true innovation lay hidden in the metal itself. The state mandated an unprecedented physical standard that changed global trade forever. By enforcing a strict 98% purity, they engineered a masterpiece of metallurgical trust. Think about that for a second. Imagine trying to build a global empire without a central bank printer. How do you guarantee trust? Purity demands an unforgiving fire. Achieving this standard required a highly advanced cupellation process. Workers heated raw lead ores to extremely high temperatures. The base metals oxidized, or leaving only the gleaming precious silver. This intense thermodynamic refinement guaranteed that the coin held undeniable, intrinsic physical value. The relentless energy expended in the furnace became permanently locked within the currency's atomic structure. Other empires chose the alloy. Neighboring kingdoms constantly mixed their silver with cheap raw copper. They sought to artificially expand their wealth without human labor. This metallurgical shortcut created weak currencies plagued by endless suspicion. Athens actively rejected this deception, choosing the difficult path of verifiable material honesty. Maintaining a near-perfect silver content was a revolutionary macroeconomic decision that defied ancient political greed. This single decision changed the course of human history. The owl commanded absolute authority. Its standardized weight of exactly 17.2 grams dominated. Foreign merchants quickly recognized the distinct, heavy metallic ringing sound. The unmistakable deep strike confirmed the density of pure silver. Its physical properties communicated a profound financial certainty across completely fractured political borders. When matter speaks with uncompromising consistency, human beings naturally organize their economies around its truth. Trust travels faster than earnings. The heavy silver coins flowed outward from the Athenian ports. They reached the distant markets of Egypt, Sicily, and Babylon. International traders eagerly accepted the owl for highly lucrative transactions. For the first time, a specific piece of metal became a universal language. The Athenian tetradrachm essentially functioned as the unchallenged United States dollar of the ancient world. Friction vanished from global trade. Previously, merchants had to painstakingly assay every single foreign coin. They weighed, scratched, and melted metals to prevent devastating fraud. The owl completely bypassed this paralyzing logistical nightmare of verification. Because Athens refused to debase, their money moved at the speed of ultimate trust. By outsourcing trust to the unyielding laws of chemistry, they unlocked unprecedented global commercial liquidity. Hard money commands immediate respect. Deep test cuts often scar the faces of surviving coins. Skeptical foreign bankers struck the silver to check the core. They always found the same bright, pure metal shining underneath. and this physical validation permanently cemented the economic supremacy of the Athenian metallurgical standard. A currency that welcomes harsh physical auditing inevitably becomes the foundational bedrock of global wealth. But how did this raw wealth translate into absolute power? The state protected the standard. Athenian law strictly forbade the export of unrefined silver bullion. The mint monopolized the transformation of raw ore into currency. They recognized that their brand of purity was their power. By controlling the exact metallurgical composition, they maintained absolute dominance over Mediterranean supply chains. The true strength of the empire resided not in its walls, but in its mint. Economic gravity pulled wealth inward. Foreign powers hoarded the owl as a primary reserve asset, and they preferred Athenian silver over their own locally debased currencies. This immense international demand funded the rapid expansion of Athens. Their commitment to sound money created an unstoppable network effect of geopolitical financial influence. The city essentially exported verifiable trust, importing massive physical resources and human capital in return. Scarcity demands a physical anchor. The Laurion mines provided the necessary geological limit to inflation. Unlike modern central banks printing trillions of weightless digital units, the ancient Greeks could only mint what they brutally extracted. This unbreakable thermodynamic tether protected the accumulated savings of the entire working citizen class. When a society anchors its wealth to extreme physical difficulty, it permanently outlaws economic manipulation. The ledger remained beautifully pristine. Generations of citizens saved their wealth in these heavy coins. They passed down their accumulated labor without fearing invisible taxes. The purchasing power of the owl remained remarkably stable for centuries. This incredible monetary longevity is completely alien to our modern era of perpetual fiat collapse. Sound money operates as a technological time capsule, perfectly preserving human energy across vast generations. This is the exact point where sound money built the world we know today. The owl built an empire. This flawless currency laid the groundwork for an unparalleled civilization. It transformed a rocky peninsula into the center of humanity. The absolute integrity of the silver forged an unstoppable destiny. We must understand how this exact metallurgical perfection directly purchased the birth of human democracy. The brilliant light of the Athenian Golden Age was entirely fueled by uncompromising physical matter. Honest ledgers unlock human potential. With the underlying currency secured against stealthy political devaluation forever, the citizenry could finally focus their minds on higher pursuits. Architects, thinkers, and warriors thrived under this stable economic canopy. The ultimate function of hard money is the total liberation of the human intellectual spirit. When the state cannot steal your time through inflation, civilization reaches its highest possible zenith. What did hard money actually buy? The massive liquidity of pure silver-funded, absolute military supremacy. A sudden geological strike at Laurion yielded an unprecedented vein. Leaders convinced citizens to invest this raw wealth into warships. This immense physical capital directly financed the construction of 200 trireme vessels. The decisive naval victory over the Persian Empire at Salamis was purchased entirely by sound metallurgy. Democracy required a massive civic treasury. Civic participation is never free for the working labor class. Farmers and artisans could not abandon their fields without compensation. To function, the political system demanded constant, reliable daily payouts. Athens became the first civilization to financially compensate ordinary citizens for civic and jury duties. The radical concept of direct political representation was fundamentally bankrolled by the integrity of the owl. Prosperity flows from pristine physical ledgers. Without the unyielding 98% purity, the system would collapse. The state distributed these silver tokens to sustain public administration. A vast imperial network paid tribute exclusively in hard assets. The Golden Age was not merely a cultural awakening, but a masterpiece of macroeconomic resource allocation. We see that a flourishing, highly engaged society stems directly from the absolute quality of its money. True wealth builds lasting physical monuments. They hired the finest architects and imported the heaviest marble. Every carved column represented thousands of ounces of verifiable silver. The physical city became a testament to their unshakable currency. When a society trusts its medium of exchange, it naturally invests in long-term, multi-generational physical infrastructure.
The massive print button has been
The magnificent
neutralized by the
structures of
silver tether,
antiquity stand as
redirecting all
permanent,
power to
petrified
the
ledgers of
sovereignty node.
honest metallurgical labor and unmanipulated wealth. Sound money guarantees absolute civic freedom. A corrupt currency silently steals from the poorest working classes. Athens protected its citizens by anchoring value to thermodynamic reality. The absolute scarcity of silver prevented political leaders from overreaching. By removing the temptation of fiat manipulation, the state empowered individuals to truly control their destinies. This unbreakable bond between hard money and human liberty forms the core of true material economics. But history has a dark sense of humor. What happens when that physical anchor is finally severed? Tragedy struck the Golden Empire. The devastating Peloponnesian War eventually broke out against Sparta. Enemy forces strategically captured the vital Laurion silver mines. This brilliant tactical maneuver completely severed the physical supply. Desperate for war funds, Athenian leaders engineered a fatal metallurgical fraud upon citizens. They began minting cheap bronze coins and deceptively plating them with a thin layer of silver. It was the ultimate macroeconomic betrayal. Currency debasement destroys all trust. The physical integrity of the mighty owl was compromised. Foreign merchants immediately recognized the duller ring and weight. They instantly rejected the corrupted money in global markets. Massive inflation exploded across the city as fake currency flooded the local economy. Without verifiable hard money to finance their fleets, the once invincible Athenian Empire immediately crumbled into ruin. Look closely at the world around you right now. Does this sound familiar? We are repeating this tragic history. Modern central banks operate like desperate, war-torn, ancient Athens. They recklessly print trillions of unbacked fiat paper currency. The purchasing power of your savings is secretly siphoned. Today's fiat system is simply a digital bronze coin plated with institutional lies. We must learn from the fall of Athens and anchor our wealth in mathematically unforgeable ledgers. Fiat money always betrays the citizenry. The working class absorbs the devastating shockwaves of inflation. Generational wealth evaporates to secretly fund geopolitical state ambition. You cannot infinitely fake the strict laws of thermodynamics. Like the plated Athenian owl, our modern fiat currencies will inevitably be exposed. When the ledger of value is corrupted by the state, financial sovereignty becomes an absolute necessity. Protect your hard assets and future. True wealth requires a strict physical or cryptographic anchor. Do not trust a currency that expands without effort. Seek hard assets to survive the coming macroeconomic storm. If this metallurgical journey through time brought value, please subscribe to our channel. Join us at Hard Assets History as we continue decoding the physical materials that dictate empires.